Hello, welcome to University of Worcester. My name is Dr. Dan Eastough. I'm a principal lecturer in biomechanics, part of the sport and exercise science team that will be teaching you if you choose to study here. This is a quick introductory video to our MPC, our Motion and Performance Centre, and the laboratory spaces that you'll be using as a student. So you can see behind me at the biomechanics facility. Look out for our other videos on our physiology labs and other facilities that we have. Essentially, these are just going to show you the space and also give you an idea of what these labs are capable of and what you'll be doing as a student. Be aware that these are our teaching facilities. They're not labs that are squirreled away for research only. This is where you will be doing your lessons if you choose to study here. So in a second, you're going to see me in the next scene actually getting some capture in one of the laboratories. Welcome to the biomechanics lab. You can see me in the space that you're going to see in person shortly. I'm going to very quickly take you through the sort of things this equipment is capable of. So I'm going to assume my position in the center of the lab and stand in my calibration A pose. Essentially, we're now able to take these reflective markers that are placed on various landmarks on my body, and this gets remapped into a physical representation of a human body. And we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about the sort of animation side of this. So if you're a digital arts student or you're looking at some kind of creative course that you might be studying here, this is a nice, I was going to say easy, it's not easy, it's very complicated, but it's less analytical than some of this sports analysis, which we'll talk about in a second. So essentially, we have full creative control here. This is a 3D environment. I'm sort of chatting to the whole room right now. I don't have a particular camera to look at. This can then be remapped digitally after I've collected my general motion capture. So if I want to start moving around as a human can, the system will be able to recognize that that is a human doing the sort of things a human can do. We have the options of creating any kind of virtual environment that we have. For example, if I want to become a different character, we can basically get that done. Now, this is just one of the potential files that we could use. We can have animal mesh files, we can have different characters to fulfill the role of whichever particular application you might be trying to apply it to. The same goes for the bigger environment around. It's looking a bit blank at the moment, but if I want it to be something else, bingo. Okay, this is now something that I have full creative control over, all the way around to perhaps putting real physical objects in place to make them interactable with for me as the actor, and also to make it look like I'm actually interacting with the digital world. Also, if I wanted to, for example, grab a prop from nowhere, I could simply say, give me, and now I have something to play around with. So at this point, any prop, any particular item that I might want to play around with is possible to remap in real space and then retarget and essentially make disappear whenever I wish. Great stuff. This is wonderful from a visual creation viewpoint. The system can do it live, and if we're doing a live demo today, excellent, you'll be able to see it in action and see what's behind the curtain. Or we can transition into our biomechanical analysis version of the software. So this is obviously moving into more of a sport and exercise science and biomechanics application, using the same equipment, but with different processing. So first thing you'll notice is I am no longer a fancy animated character, although I still do have my little stick man going on here. Through full processing, this can be remapped into the representation of a human skeleton, and that allows us to do further analysis. It also opens up the opportunity of more advanced kit. For example, our ground reaction force plates in the floor here. So I can start looking at different amount of force put into the floor and therefore coming back at us, and you can see the force vectors moving here. 3 different plates, do anything from gait analysis to jumps, cricket bowls, etc.
If we want to capture sporting activity, we will also fire up the integrated 2-dimensional video camera. This allows us to see what's actually happening in real life, and it also allows us to event particular parts of the movement. For example, the point the feet hit the floor, or a ball is bowled, etc. This is important because it allows us to actually be able to see what's happening in real life alongside the actual digital 3-dimensional capture. Also, don't forget that the 3D environment is still 3-dimensional. We can move around and look at the action from any angle we wish without impacting the 2-dimensional video capture.
So you'll see an example at the moment on the screen of a cricket bowl, very poor one executed by myself. I am not a cricketer. However, you can see that we're able to represent what the musculoskeletal system is doing and also take additional readings from the force plates in the floor and also track the trajectory of the ball. Now, back into the room, I can start reprocessing this data, making it look more interesting from a visual perspective. For example, putting a skeletal system on top of it. We can go the extra steps of actually mapping the musculature onto it, but that takes hours and hours of processing, so I'm not going to ask our technical staff to do that for a demonstration video. However, this allows us to look in real detail at the sort of movements that are going on. So I'll get back onto my force plate here. Like we said, we can start looking at different movements, what's happening at the floor, but I can now start tracking, for example, what is my left knee doing right now? I can start putting things on screen that show the amount of flexion and extension in that specific joint. I can start tracking the force plate vectors. So if I want to know what happens during a vertical jump or during different movements, I can get an idea of what that force is actually doing. This also allows us to get away from the pretty pictures and get some real data out in a really specific and precise manner, down to sort of sub-millimeter accuracy. And this is where the sort of analysis and biomechanics comes in. All of which can be done here at the University of Worcester if you choose to study with us. If you have any questions about what you just saw, or indeed any information required about any of our courses, such as our degree program in Sport and Exercise Science, my contact details are on screen. You can also jump straight onto our website and view details of any of the courses we have available. You can also join us on any of our open or applicant days, and again, you'll find details about that on the webpage. Thanks again for watching, and look forward to seeing you if you choose to come and study here.